Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Xwf Podcast with your host, Chronic Chris Page, them no good bastards, Thunder Knuckles, Bobby Bourbon, and yes, if available, Bearded War Pig. And the action starts now.
All right, here we go. And welcome to episode 5 of the Xwf Podcast. We're back again, live on a Sunday afternoon of recording with two of my favorite people until he coughed in my fucking ear. TK, man, welcome to episode 5. You got any more coughing you want to do right now?
No.
Sorry. I was trying to have a jokey joke with you, but you weren't having it. Bobby Bourbon, man. What's going on, brother?
Well, I got to say, right now I have bananas and peanuts and coffee and tea. I'm not going to say which brands. I'm just advocating for those things in general. How you guys doing?
I'm doing all right, man. It's it's a little different recording on a Sunday afternoon than versus a Wednesday evening for sure. So hopefully we can figure out our little 4-hour windows that we love to play with so much. Listen, I'm excited this week for this program. We're going to bring in our guest here in just a few minutes, but let's take a second and talk about this guy. Really and truly just came back into the Fed not too long ago and has risen, through the ranks of warfare fairly quickly. And as of now, bear in mind, guys, we're recording this on February the 28th. As of now, he's getting ready to go into his first hard title defense after, pretty much kind of dominating the Wednesday night scene for a second and snagging the hard title at Snow Job in that 4-way. I'm not that familiar with Mr. Edgar, and I know we're going to bring him on in a second. Bobby, man, talk to me about what you know about RL and from the character and the man himself that we're going to bring in just a few minutes.
Well, the character RL, it's a pretty solid character. It's just it's basically it's the handler as close as it can be. I've met the guy. He's a cool dude. Cool dude. Met him, hung out with him. I was a guest in his home. Good guy. Great guy. I'm glad he's on the show today. I'm glad he's having fun playing the game. He's a friend of mine. He's a friend of the Fed. He's been around forever. He's handled a bunch of different characters. If he wants to talk about the characters he's handled, that's on him. I'm not going to bring him up. But yeah, I'm excited for today. TK, what do you think?
I think I can't say it better than that. RL, welcome.
Gentlemen, it's an honor and a privilege to be here speaking with you this Sunday.
All right, man, we appreciate you taking the time to come and chat with us a little bit about, I guess it's everybody's little favorite little hobby here, and that's the XWF, dude. How's life treating you, man? Pandemic and all aside, how are you doing?
As well as I can, just working and raising these babies and finally, having some fun e-fedding again. It's been a long time, and I'm just happy to be back here and happy to see the Fed's probably in the best shape I've ever seen it in. Everything from the community to the just the content that's getting put up on the boards. It's truly an amazing thing to see. I'm just happy to be a part of it again.
Before we jump into Anarchy and Savage, I want to talk to you a little bit about your time in the Fed. Update me. Bear in mind, like I was here briefly in 2005 and maybe again in 2010 and another stint in like 13 or 14. Bobby said you've kind of been in and out. So give me a rundown of, when did you first start with the XWF and throughout your breaks and hiatuses, man. Tell me a little bit about your XWF career.
Let's see. I think I started just a little bit before Bobby came in. It was late like real late 2014 when I found the Fed, and kind of started off with a really, this is the place where I learned how to eat Fed. I mean, this is my, this is where I came up and learned how to play this game, and I had a really kind of a not so good character in my first go, and then I just kept trying and played with a different set of folks through 2015 and 16, kind of off and on, and was honored to help and do some GMing. I think that was in 2016, and that was really a lot of fun to be able to help put shows together and be involved and see the whole process of how matches are judged and things like that. And yeah, I always just kind of something would always kind of pop up though and get in the way, and wasn't able to do it for as long as I'd like. But every time I come back, this place is still here, still rolling, still getting better. So I'm just happy that's the case, and glad to be here doing it again.
I think we had Theo and Vinnie on a couple weeks back, and one thing that I think Theo was talking about was I think that everyone on this podcast can agree that 2021 could be a really big year for the Fed. We've shed a lot of the negativity skin. We've started incorporating a lot of characters, and it's funny that you had mentioned that you feel like now it's thriving more than it ever has, because I'm kind of under the same mindset. Bobby, I know that you've kind of been in and out longevity wise more than I have. What would you say to the position of the Fed now versus like where it was when you came in and first crossed paths with RL so many years ago?
Well, I would say that it's it's actually it's more competitive now. I think that the roster is just as stacked as it's ever been. I mean, when I came in, some of the people that are running things now were players. Um, and they're awesome. They're really good at playing their characters too, but they went into Fed heading. But there's just been an influx of talent throughout all the years that I've been here, that they've been here, that RL's been here. Um, you see people come and go, some good, some not so good, and
And
um,
some Gilmores.
yeah, yeah.
I love
I'm
Pete.
sorry, I actually smelled that over the audio. That's what that name happens. Oh god, gross.
Did it smell like shit?
Like herpes on shit.
Uh,
Like
then that was the right guy.
yeah, in a chemical toilet. Like oh my goodness. On
Oh,
summer on a July day. Anyways, um uh, right now I'd say that a lot of the fat's been trimmed, but some of the marbling ain't there anymore either.
well, RL, while we've got you, and I'm just going to kind of pick your brain for a minute because you did just come back not too long ago. What are your eyes locked on right now in the Fed? I mean, obviously, you've got kind of the weight of Wednesday night on your shoulder right now as the Hart champion. We've talked about it at length. That belt is the flagship belt for Wednesday nights. What else is your eyes on uh, as far as talent and angles and storylines, and what has your interest peaked?
Well, I don't think there's ever been more content. I mean, as far as just different angles and storylines to be enticed by. Honestly, one of my favorite things since I've been back is seeing the Miss Fury character and everything she's doing, and um, Bob and the Left Hand, and the Anarchy shows have just been really fun to sit back and read. And I'm just really digging it. It's a lot of fun.
It's funny you mentioned Miss Fury because I think that there's a lot of characters that have the potential to have a breakout year this year, and she's obviously one of them. And PK, I mean, I think that we can both agree on that, right?
Yep.
And then TK is obviously a breakout character too when you pay him X bucks.
That's how it works.
Well, I guess the X bucks makes the dream work, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to stack up my money for. All my Xbox is give them to TK so he can come
Well,
run in and help me win some matches.
no, don't worry about it because we don't get them. That's just TK gets them, but he's the only one that can crack Vinny's code to make that happen. I've been trying to pester him for him, and it's just he's not budging. So let's move into, you talk about Anarchy and how things are happening on Anarchy. Let's move into Anarchy, TK. We come off of, a great post snow job show that saw Miss Fury and Kinsey Gray as your headliner, and now we roll into this show. So take it away, my man.
All right, so we're moving on to Thursday Night Anarchy, live from the Ralph in Grand Forks, North Dakota. First on the card, we have Liam Roberts versus Dean Rose in a no-holds-barred match with Mika Hunt as the referee.
Shout out to Dean Rose for using Alice in Chains for an entrance theme. Good job, buddy.
Absolutely. I told him that when I saw him on the boards. What a great song.
Yeah, shout out for that. I'm a little disappointed that being in North Dakota that we don't have John Denver on this show. Go ahead, TK. Sorry, man.
Shout out to Dean Rose for solid heel work.
Yep. Messing with everybody
I'm
on
definitely
Twitter.
becoming a Dean Rose fan from the moment that I saw that Alice in Chains was his theme song. To the first thing he wrote on the boards. Definitely looking forward to more Dean Rose. Big win here for him.
Was the first thing he wrote on the boards, should I have used a wrestling pick base? Was that him? An out of character post?
Maybe. I just know he jumped in on the 24/7, the new 24/7 title thing. It's pretty funny. I was like, that's funny shit. Then we got the main event with Sarah Lachlan. The main event. I keep messing that up. The even main event. So, you got Sarah Lachlan versus Bridget Big Sky Bullet. Sarah easily squashes the Bullet. She did have a segment earlier on in the show that I skipped over. She was just going over the rules of Anarchy now. And giving her version of what's going to happen tonight. Moving on, we got Lord Rab versus Robbie. Hit me with that name.
Lord Rab's opponent is none other than Valerie Valdivostok. Valdivostok is actually Russian for room service.
Thanks.
Yes. That's
Well,
Valerie room service versus Lord Rob.
It's always fun when a last name of an opponent's longer than the match.
Well, Richard Wang takes care of it because he's the referee. And Lord
What a
Rab.
dick.
Lord Rab takes
Wang
this one home.
did that 3 times, and you know that the match is over with then.
Tula faces the podcast's favorite wrestler, Barney Green, with the referee being Ari Silverstein. And Tula walks away. She beats the podcast favorite.
Well,
Daddy of
Tula the
violence. Daddy of
Tula
violence.
the talent. Call her that. That's the daddy of violence, but it's also Tula the talent. Ari obviously just, you know what? Maybe she didn't call it right down the middle for Barney. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's
But
what I'm
Tula the
thinking.
talent. Let's give it all to Tula.
Tula's former Anarchy champion, man. She knows what she's doing in that ring. She took away a little sunshine on my day with that loss to picking up that win over Barney Green.
You said it before. It's hard to write. Anybody can write 1,000 words. Writing 1,000 good words, that's not for everybody. Tula can do that. She's demonstrated that, and she's going to continue to demonstrate that as long as she keeps playing on Anarchy.
I agree. I think that Tula's a threat any show. almost like in my eyes, can't really sleep on that character at all. Anywhere. You could drop a quick W on you real quick.
Yep, I
Absolutely.
agree.
I'm as big a Barney stan as anyone, but you gotta take your hat off to Tula. I mean, it's really impressive because I think she had lost the last time she was on an Anarchy card, so she bounced back and showed that she's still here and she's still
She
doing it.
she's
Hats off
she's
to her.
definitely on bounce back road. She lost the title at No Job in that 4-way. Don't think she was on the last Anarchy. I could be wrong.
I don't believe so.
My days run together. The cards run together. This would be her if my mind is right. Then this is her first match back, so it was a must win for her.
Mm-hmm.
And Barney is the internet champion, so like that, she's picked up a win over the second tier champion on Anarchy. Not a bad bounce back win for sure.
Well, we're going to move on to the spiritual interlude. We have some natives doing a sun dance. And you know what? Paige, why don't you tell us what happens here?
I protested because John Denver wasn't there, man.
Ah, come on.
Apparently, you and I get to wrap up in some COVID blankets, which I thought was
Yeah.
okay. But where I marked out was Liza Minnelli coming in from out of nowhere,
Yep.
and putting it to Big Money Oswald.
Yep. Liza
Big
came out.
Ozzy got that bitch said nope, not today.
Y'all really thought you could cross Liza? Come on. Now.
Obviously, we did.
Without repercussion? No.
No one fucks with the Manelli.
That's right.
Well, she got a little sweet revenge. Kudos to whoever wrote this segment and for the piggybacking in on Liza Minnelli. Good job there. I guess we just had to figure out in character how do we explain that we didn't have COVID 2 days later when we're in Madison Square Garden. But hey, continuity, guys.
It's easy. I've already got it taken care of.
Okay. You beat it. You got better.
No, you got better. Asymptomatic, right? We're just infecting the entire roster now.
No, you got better.
We got better.
Yeah, you got better.
Science is a beautiful thing in the realm of.
You don't have to science the damn thing. You just got better, and you just say, "Yep, we got better." And everybody asks how. You're like, "Well, yep, we did."
Here's the deal: fucking COVID couldn't keep me down. What makes you think you can?
Moving on, we have Scarlett the Huntress and Savannah Knightley versus our former guest, JB and Tommy Wish of the Thugs. It's a war cry match. The ring will be surrounded with massive speakers, blaring loud music, deafening the opponents or the combatants the whole time. The referee and somebody who's suffering from hearing loss, Chaz Bobo. Thugs take this one, guys. So JB is
Chaz
on a.
Bobo.
This takes him. Takes him
Chaz Bobo is a veteran. He's a veteran official. You know, he's not going to let this new disability limit the way he calls a match. And obviously, the Thugs are used to listening to loud music. And now they're stepping up in the tag division, guys.
I know. Worries me.
This is 4 straight for JB.
Yep, this is 4
straight wins.
Killing it.
We'll move on to the next match. We'll get into some of the segments later. Kinsey Gray versus Solace Tandem. Extreme Rules match. The referee is the lovable Marty.
Big win for Solace Tatum.
Oh, huge win.
Big win here, guys. Big win. This character, I think this is a newer character to the Fed, right? Like,
yeah, last Anarchy was her debut.
And here she is right now, knocking off fucking Kinsey. who's obviously one of the top 4
Yeah.
on this program.
Yep.
I mean, we cannot look past how big this was for her. Excuse me, not JB. RL. What's your thoughts on Solace picking up this what we are considering a huge win?
I checked Solace out as soon as she started posting on the forums, and I was impressed. Now she's showing, just like the story she's telling, this stuff's in her blood, and I don't think we're too far removed from when Solace is going to be at the top of Anarchy. I'm calling it now. Solace Tatum.
I think that this puts her in the conversation. I mean, so I'm telling you, when I say that, it makes me want to take a step back and say, goddamn, good job, Vinnie. Like this program with the Anarchy Championship, there are more people who have legitimate gripes to warrant a title shot. You have Miss Fury, you have Kenzie, you have Chula, you have Lachlan, you've got Solace. Now, I mean, there's 6 people right there, and we have another one that we're going to come up on in a minute. I really think that this division's heating up, and it's heating up at the right fucking time.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay.
And I'm like RL on this one. Solstice Tandem, since coming in, I read her work. I really liked it. Pretty much where I'm at with Solstice. And I mean, she has a legitimate shot at taking this belt from Ruby, I think.
I just goes back to say there's 6 or 7 people right now that oof. I have to book that though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, absolutely. Maybe a little Armageddon Hell in a Cell on Anarchy. That would be cool.
Or
I
a
do
little
that for the
tournament.
number 1. Do that for fucking the number 1 contendership. Make them all earn it.
That would be a fun read. That all that work, all those role plays would be absolutely just a treat to take in.
Mm-hmm.
Vinny, if you book something like that, I give you my word, I'll write it. So problem solved. You just figure out what
We
you
gotta watch. We gotta make sure we're not breaking Lachlan's rules. Or she'll force feed you creamed onions, and nobody really wants to deal with that.
I don't know.
So
Bobby might.
Yeah. Bobby is a foodie.
Yeah, creamed onions are just not my flavor.
You could put some peanuts on it though.
I'm good on that. I do have peanuts, but they're not going to have to go on whatever you just mentioned. That sounds disgusting. Get out.
Are they salty?
No, salted caramel. They're salty and sweet.
Well played. Moving on.
Bobby, what do you think about the Solstice Tandem match where she beats Kinsey?
I think Solace does have a bright future and has a lot of potential. I want to see a little bit more. I think Solace versus Tula would be a good match. I think, Solace against a lot of people on the Anarchy brand would be a good match. But let's keep seeing those good matches keep coming. Other than that, definitely a threat. But let's see how long she can go.
Next, we have the main event, just regular, plain Jane main event, is a non-title bout versus Notorious Ned K and Ruby. The referee is John X. Paige, would you like to jump in and give us your thoughts on this match?
I would. I first want to know why Ruby's name is misspelled in her entrance. RUBLY, unless that's a whatever. I may have missed that.
It's a purpose mess up.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel stupid now.
I bet you do.
Listen, this is a really, really, really good match. Very well written. Much like with Solace picking up what I think is a huge win over Kenzie. Ned is on point, like knocking off Ruby, going back to automatically at this point, like title shot. So there's Ned in the mix. You have Solace in the mix. You have Miss Fury in the mix. You have Lackland if she chooses to be in the mix. You've got Kenzie, who's always in the mix. You have Ruby, who is the champion. There's so much potential right there, but only one is going to be able to get the shot right now, and all of them are red hot. So I like if you're booking this, what are you booking, Bobby? Where would you go? What direction would you take?
Well, the direction as it's headed, the way I see it, Lachlan versus Ruby. You ride that to the next pay per view. I can actually headline the pay per view. TK, what do you think?
I think that Ned, listen, Ned is a great talent. I want to say that first and foremost. Ned is a great talent. He's right up there with the Kinseys, the Miss Furies, the Rubies of Anarchy. I think we need to see something here to narrow down the field. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm. What about you, RL?
I don't know how we haven't seen enough just from Ned already. I mean, he's beaten the current champion, current Anarchy champion, and a former champion within recent weeks. I think that Ned K has got to be the clear-cut number one contender, and I think that he and Lackland Ruby for the championship would be a great addition to a pay-per-view card. I mean, that's big money talking right there. Ned's a guy that I've got to work with a lot recently with the doing some storytelling with the Heart Championship, and he's just a great guy. And I'm pretty sure he had been affected by some of the bad weather down in Texas, and he was still able to pull through and pick up a huge win. I mean, I think Ned K's got to be that guy on Anarchy. This is his chance to show that that's his show.
I think Ned has always been kind of a sleeper when it comes to talent. You know what I'm saying? Like he's always in the conversation. He's always kind of like in the back of the room until it's too late. And then you realize he's there, and he's already got you. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It does.
Like he's really good. And the fact that he just knocked off Ruby, and he has knocked off Kenzie, he's hats off to that guy. He's doing a terrific job. And yes, and we will touch on that a little bit later. He did pop up in one of your segments on Warfare, and I think that there's some shit going on that I'm going to pick your brain about later, just so you're aware. Move it on.
So we'll move on to the main IST event. Miss Fury takes on the one and only cock puncher for the Bob World Heavyweight title.
Cock puncher is pretty dangerous, man.
Yeah.
Now watch out for them fists
Yeah.
and your cock.
Miss Fury retains. Anybody want to?
I love Tony Slavano
Yeah.
as the announcer, as commentator. Thought that was really good. Here's the thing, like I kind of knew about that segment in advance, and when I was told about it, I laughed then, and just like I laugh now because it's hilarious to me. I love what Miss Fury is doing with this belt that has just been given to her, and is going on the road with it. Like it's the old school NWA World Heavyweight Championship. We're going on the road. I love the fact that that Vinnie let this close the show too, because it's almost like Bob has its own network now. So it's like the XWF is airing Bob specific content. Does that make sense? Am I looking at that the right way?
I think you're looking at that the right way.
Definitely the vibe, yeah.
Hey, Bobby.
Well, sorry, mouthful of peanuts.
That's what he said.
It is what I said. So Bob is doing things. Bob is making moves. I know it. You know it. Everybody in Bob knows it. So it's really just a kudos to Miss Fury's work ethic. Fury's been doing a lot to carry Bob. And yeah, shout out to Miss Fury. Gotta say that. TK, what do you gotta say?
I think she's doing a really good job. There's some other segments that we didn't go over earlier in the show. We said we'd get back to them.
Go ahead. What do we got? Hit me with your best shot.
Well, we have the sit-down interview with Vinnie Lane. I'm not going to go over every detail of that. Some keynotes is she gives Graves and his body back to Vinnie to put into the bad gimmicks closet. So it looks as though Michael Graves is no more.
How brilliant was that? That was just brilliant.
What other gimmicks are in that closet?
You know what? Next time Vinny's on, we need to ask.
What would you name his one?
My original character is definitely there. He's gone. Goodbye.
Well, now you have my interest peaked. Who was the original character?
Oh, it was so bad. It's not even worth mentioning. It was some horror stuff, and I'm just not really good at that kind of thing. It was just, I was learning.
It doesn't
His
answer.
face was Pee Wee Reese from the Dodgers of the 1950s. It was adorable.
Is this a thing? Is this really happen?
No, that did not really happen. I made that up.
Okay. What else do we have segment wise? Poor Michael Graves. Poor Michael Graves.
R.I.P. bro.
Never got that. Never got that match with me.
Never did.
Yeah.
Anybody order a swerve? I smell swerve, just like Mom used to make.
I mean, the hint of it is there, but I'm gonna hope that Graves it stays in Vinny's closet.
Oh. Okay. So Saturday Night Savage live from Madison Square Garden in New York, New York. First matchup is Mini Morbid versus Slash Hopkins. We go straight to it, and it's a double count out. Draw. But it wasn't really for the tournament, so
Nah, nobody showed. I don't believe, and that's what happens. You gotta bud for an opening match.
well, moving forward, we go to Liam Roberts versus Osira Themis.
Yes.
Winner of that one, Osira.
Moving
TK,
on.
what'd you think?
I think Osira is going to advance further than what a lot of people think. I'm happy that she won. Paige?
Cool. Paige, what do you think?
I mean, I think if you're sleeping on Osira, you're not the smartest person in the world. Big win, big advance. So this would be technically the first tournament match, right? So she would be the first one to advance to round 2. It's this is you start with 32, and now the plot starts to thicken as we start getting some of these people advancing, and we can start like planning in our heads what matches could we possibly see. Like this is the whole mystique about March Madness is who advances, and Osira set the pace.
Yep, that's pretty spot on. RL, what'd you think?
I think Osira played her cards right, and sometimes in these early matchups in these tournaments, you can kind of have your foot off the gas a little bit and sit back and see what your opponent's going to do. And more often than not, when there's a lot of people like this, you can sneak in a win without having to show too much of your hand for what you're planning in later rounds. So kudos to Osira. I think that she'll go further than what people think.
Hmm. All right. Well, again, I think the match was well written. I mean, none of these matches are going to be too long because there are a ton of them. But for what they're worth, they're very entertaining snap matches. So we move on and we go to Solace Tatum versus Chris the Hammer Von Bon. Solace Tatum with a win here, and we were talking about Solace on Anarchy, which he does here on Savage, just as impressive. You know, continuing that winning across multiple shows. That shows dedication to the Fed. Chris, what do you think?
I mean, think about what Solace did, 48 hours prior to this. Knocked off Kins Gray. Now you're rolling into the March Madness tournament and you've knocked off your first round opponent. I think that this tournament, with a lot of the stars that are moving forward, some of these people have an opportunity to use this tournament as a breakout moment, whether they win or lose. And Solace is one of these characters. Osira is also one of those characters. They can go far and use that to to their betterment. I don't think that they could come out looking bad in any direction. This is another big win, and she's definitely somebody to keep your eyes on if you're not reading her work. She's one that will get you. And it seems like with every win, you build, a little bit more momentum. You start building a little bit more confidence in your work and what you're writing and what story you're telling. It's obviously working, so you enhance it. So I'm really curious to see where she goes from here.
Yeah, that's a good call. TK, what do you think?
I think we can't talk enough about Solace Tandem. I think she's going to be something pretty good in the near future.
Gotcha. RL, do you have anything to say about it?
Said earlier that I was a big fan of what I seen from Solace, and here she is again. So, and what a matchup that would be! Imagine if Solace and Osira got the draw. Those two going head to head. That would be fun. Um, so yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm here for it. Congratulations.
All righty. So next up after that, just pushing on forward, we have Noah Jackson versus the Storyteller. And with this match, Noah Jackson won. Um, Thoughts on the match? TK, you first.
I'm a Noah Jackson mark, through and through. I was so happy to see him come back. So happy that he won. And I was one of the people chanting cunt in the greatest cunt chant. Paige?
Noah coming back into the scene. I don't think that we've seen Noah in the ring since March Madness of last year in the XWF. If not, if that's not it, it's close to it. So to see him come back and pick up a win in the first round of this tournament, depending on how hard he pushes and how seriously he wants to take it, will determine if he's going to win or lose it. He's got to be an odds-on favorite if he's up to potential. I mean, you think you've got, as we see some of these names progress, you have Osira, you have Solace, now we have Noah. The measuring stick of March Madness of the tournament itself is about to start showing itself.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I can totally agree with that. All right. RL, your thoughts on the match?
I was just really impressed with Noah. I got to read his first role play, and um, I don't know that I'd laughed out loud that hard at a role play in a while. So I had a lot of fun with it. Glad he's back. What a great guy, and a guy that's been around for a long time. And I'm just happy to see him back. And I also can't say enough about the Storytellers theme song either. Um, what an enjoyable little tune to have. Takes me back to my childhood. So big credit to him.
Right on. Well, moving right on, there's a segment, and it has to deal with Well, Bobby Bourbon and Chris Page and Thunder Knuckles. So, Mr. Page, if you want to go ahead and talk about this segment.
I was just laying some groundwork for what was left to come. You know, we ended Warfare with the revelation that Thunder Knuckles cracked boy Robert Skull. So this was just I think, you know, Bobby trying to play peacemaker for a minute because after all, like it's known that Chris and Bob they were friends. The dynamic changed the moment that footage aired of TK cracking Robert in the skull. So Paige is pretty much just, you know, letting Bobby know that he's coming to see Thunder Knuckles and he's not coming to have a conversation with him.
All right. Well, we move on to the next match. That's part of the March Madness round one. We have Ned K versus Scarlett, the Huntress Donaldson. And this one, it was Ned K. I don't think a lot of people here were surprised by that one.
No, but I mean, it just he's building that momentum. We're just talking about it with Solace. He just knocked off Ruby 48 hours ago. Falls into March Madness, and he's knocking off and advancing in the tournament, building that momentum.
Yeah. RL, what'd you think about it?
Can't sleep on the Notorious one. I covered Ned when I thought about his work on Anarchy, and I think the same thing here. This is a guy who can easily find himself in the finals. You never know. So it's definitely something to keep an eye out for. He's putting in great work, and couldn't say more about him.
Right. TK, your thoughts?
Ned winning is no surprise to me. This tournament is rich with some really talented people. So it's going to be fun to see who gets placed up against Ned next.
Right. So coming up next, we have Karen Overton versus Bob's own Miss Fury in a Fury Rules match, which is also round one of March Madness. Miss Fury took this one. TK, what'd you think about it?
I like this match because TK was on commentary. That's it's a fun read if you give it the time.
Gotcha. What'd you think of the match?
Definitely a fun match, and then here again is Miss Fury stepping up and furthering her story, and it's just it's a great thing to see.
All right, now, Chris, what'd you think of the match?
Excuse me. Miss Fury going over is it's laying more to that foundation of maybe Bob being taken more seriously than what they once were. You know, like it was all fun and games, and now it's like switch has been flipped, and this whole tournament, there's so many different dynamics and so many different things that play into it that it's a pick 'em as we get deeper into it. So this is another momentum building victory for Miss Fury. It's really going to come down to who her next draw is.
Miss Fury's on a mission to make sure that Bob's taken more seriously, and with all you guys' work, I don't see anyone could be sleeping on Bob these days.
Well, thank you. Well, that takes us over to Centurion versus Dean Rose in a barroom brawl. Match will take place in the failing XWF New York restaurant. Not a long one here. Centurion wins. Now, we were talking about Dean Rose getting some good heel heat earlier on Anarchy. What happened here?
He got snuffed out.
Yeah.
real
did.
real quick. Disler saw that one coming and he cut it off. That's what happened. No, it was. I mean, it was a random draw, but you got to know Centurion was licking his chops when he saw that draw. You got to know it.
There was food
Oh.
involved, so Centurion won. King of
For a
the Death.
newcomer to take to take a loss to Centurion, that's nothing to snub your nose at. I think Dean's gonna bounce back after this.
Oh,
Mark
no
my words.
doubt, no
Oh, yeah.
doubt, no doubt. That's a not to sound like that was a bad situation. It's definitely nothing to look down at to take a loss to Centurion. The guy's a legend. He's in the Hall of Legends for a reason.
All right. Well, move on. It's another round one match for March Madness. Bearded Warpig versus Sean Warstein. A lot of potential going into this one. Potential doesn't always win matches. So Sean Warstein coming away with a win. What do you
Twice.
think about
God
it?
damn it, that's twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. Like we don't have a choice. So, my thoughts on this are, let me see if I can do this. First of all, shout out to Warpig. Glad you're on the podcast this week with us, buddy. Second is, again, with the March Madness tournament, it could bring any and everyone into the mix, including, but not limited to, a former Universal Champion. This is going to be dangerous, man. If the former Universal Champion,
Yeah, this guy has something to offer to the
he's-
tournament.
he's definitely got something. He's got it. He's got the it factor.
You can keep it.
What do you think about it, Mr. Edgar?
I think it's an impressive win for Mr. Warstein.
God damn it, that's
Three.
three.
Oh, well, that's a character I'm just starting to get familiar with, and I've liked what I've seen. And I wish we could have seen a little more from Bearded Warpig, because I think everybody on this podcast knows what he's capable of doing. Still,
I think
big win for
anybody on
Sean,
this, I
so,
think anybody on this podcast would just like to see the bearded warpig.
yeah. I think Lane had asked the question not that long ago. Who would you most like to see come back? And BWP was one of those people. A lot of people were clamoring for. So come on back. We're here waiting for you.
Well, sorry. Following that, we have a small segment which revealed that Kieran Overton will be advancing to round two.
Time out. Can I just say how impressive it was we got through that with just saying it 4 times?
That was
Yes.
pretty good.
Okay. All right. Cool. Continue on.
I'm kind of fuzzy on what you're talking about, but anyways.
Glad it's not just me, Bobby. I'm glad it's not just me. Went over like a damn boat anchor.
Well, the next match we have Hawaiian Hardhead versus Nari Carnes. Another round one match. And this one goes to Carnes via submission.
Oh, hold on 1 second, because we just glossed over a segment where Theo is
Yeah.
wait a minute. The referee cost carry over to the match. It's disgraceful. This is what we're gonna do. Carrie and Overton. Yeah, Carrie and Overton will move forward in this tournament.
All right. So scratch Miss Fury off of the March Madness now. We've learned that Theo might be acting a little shady towards Bob, it looks like.
Oh, all right.
Maybe.
We
I don't
may have
think
to.
so.
We may have to circle back around to that one. I didn't mean to cut you off, Bobby. You were discussing Hanari and Hardhead.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, that was I saw that, and I think I missed it on the initial read because I didn't know that Carrion was still involved. As I was scrolling, it caught my eye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh yeah. Kieran Overton is still involved in the tournament. The thing that though, it doesn't say that Fury's bounced from the tournament. It just says that
Right.
Overton's moved on. So we'll see what happens.
Right.
Now, the following match again, Hardhead versus Carnes. Carnes wins via submission. Chris, what'd you think of the match?
The match itself was pretty well written. I like that piece of it. Seeing Carnes ahead and advance forward. I think he made the finals last year of this very tournament. So he's got some motivation behind him to supersede it and try and take it this year. He's also someone that you can't really sleep on. So say all that to say again with the advancements of Osira, the advancements of Miss Fury, Kyrian, uh, the former Universal's champion. Now we have Hanari Carnes, the Ned Kane. The field is starting to thicken, and we're not even quite halfway through with round one.
No,
Imagine how round two is going to be.
it's gonna be pretty sweet, I think.
I think this is a pretty big win for Carnes, and it all goes to building that forward momentum to round two. Obviously, the more wins you rack up here, the more you can sell yourself post tournament, win or lose. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. And and the Hawaiian Hardhead was a guy that we've all been looking forward to seeing more from, and has been spoke highly of. So it's even more impressive for I always called him Carnes, but for that character to get the win here, that's someone that I beat in 2019 in this very tournament, and it wasn't an easy win. So he's definitely someone to watch out for.
Yeah, totally. Hanari actually eliminated TK in the semifinals. I think it was semifinals last year. So he can go far.
Well, following that, we do have Ash Quinn, Mandy Ryder, round one for March Madness. This one just ends in a double DQ.
Which is
Chris, why don't you go ahead and describe what happens after?
I wonder if this is where Kyrian comes into play.
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
That would make most sense. Yeah.
Are you eating, Bobby?
I am.
Always
Oh,
in
buddy,
character.
Left hand showing up here in this match, getting some
Yep.
retribution on Ash. Yeah, it's a big thing. That's
Muffling
definitely
like
that's definitely a group you don't want to turn your back on once you've signed the blood oath to the left hand. They'll come for you. And I guess Ash had to learn that lesson in this match.
Well, is she done learning it?
That's an even better question.
That is.
I don't think she can be. I don't think that you take something like this laying down. And if we take into consideration recent shows where she and Mist and I can't remember the other girl's name off the top of my head joined forces. Depending on what direction they're going, like there could be some legs there, and Ash could have some backup, but she's gonna have to have backup if she's gonna be going up against the left hand. She can't do it by herself. That's for sure.
Nope.
Yeah, Bobby, good job.
Thank you.
Left hand has strength in numbers.
Yeah, and we don't know how many of those numbers are.
Yeah, they keep
We
crawling out of the shadows. You never know.
when it comes to the left hand, like we only know what they want us to know.
Yeah.
There's
I
that.
think
There's
we're
that.
all still waiting for the big left hand and Bob confrontation.
Well,
Well, Miss
I
Fury
think
is the bridge between the two, so she's also
Yeah,
a
there's that
member of the
too.
left hand, so there's a bridge there. So I don't think there'll be a confrontation anytime soon.
There's a team up brewing.
that means that everybody's fucked.
That would
That's
be
what
tough.
that
That would be
sounds
tough
like.
to deal with. Yeah.
Moving forward, Bobby. What else do we got?
Well, then we go to our main event. We do have Continuum, Corey Smith and Thaddeus Duke defending their tag team championships against Charlie Nichols and Jim Jimson in a TLC Tornado tag match. This match was really well written. It was a good match to read. It was a lot of fun. Big time match. But at the end of the day, Duke and Smith win it. They flexed, and they flexed well. Chris, what do you think?
Shout out to the match writer. Really, really good job. I think that DDS is going to be in the mix as long as they want to be. I think that this was kind of a show up and show out and show what you could do. It's kind of a coming out party for them as a tag team. I thought that they hung in there with Duke and Corey throughout the cycle. I think the right team went over here. All things considering, but the match itself, it really showed some solid shit. We had a little bit of everything in it, which is always great. And you take into the consideration too, which is something we haven't really touched on, is the venue that we're in. Right? Like, this is the most famous arena in the world, Madison Square Garden. And Duke and Corey are headlining against DDS, and on a show filled with some really good first round matches, they came out and steal the show with this. I thought this was the match of the night.
I agree.
Well,
RL, where are you at with that?
RL, what'd you think?
Oh, what a great, fun cycle to read. Read every role play between these guys, these fine gentlemen. Mr. Charlie Nichols is a lot of fun, and Jim, I don't think I realized how much fun he was. And at the end of the day, I mean, um, Corey and Thad are, they're the tag champs for a reason, and they showed why that is. And um,
Well,
just can't.
that is.
Oh, see, yeah. Now we're back to there's the Freebird debate that's kind of lingered over from this show too. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but
The debate that
man,
never happened.
that's right. But like it or not, Corey's holding up one of those tag straps, and I don't know that he'll be losing it anytime soon. It's gonna take a real good effort to knock those guys off.
I agree with that 100%. They're definitely gonna be tough champions to knock down. And whoever knocks them down is gonna have to bring their shit. They're gonna have to be on point and not make a mistake. Like these guys, Thad and Corey by themselves are dangerous enough, but when they're teaming up and they're able to collaborate on some stuff and interweave stories, and like that's just a fucking shit show of I'm gonna punch your face out shit. Like it's just gonna happen. And then if you sprinkle Doc into that equation too, just it's there's a lot going on there. There's a lot going on there.
It's
There's a
hard to
lot to
beat,
be.
I promise.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, you got to think about it. Doc and Thad took the titles off of Rob and I, and Rob and I held them for 8 or 9 months. We took them off the sick cunts. It's not like we didn't beat anybody for them, but and I say that to say it's like we weren't a slouch of a tag team. We knocked off people like Centurion and Ruby. We beat whoever they put in front of us, and for them to come in and knock us off and take the belts off of us, like we were nothing. We were just some scrubs. It's just goes to show you that they're going to be hard. They're going to be dangerously hard to knock off.
Now we've seen all three iterations of the of this Freebird team, and it's hard to say which one is stronger team than the other. I mean, Corey and Doc looked unbeatable. Doc and Thad looked unbeatable, and now Thad and Corey showed that they can hold it down. Just hats off to those gentlemen. Great guys, a lot of fun to work with.
Following that, we have a big in-ring segment. Chris, do you want to talk about what happened after that?
I mean, you guys fucking did me dirty. What do you mean? Like it's.
I mean,
Yeah, you did.
You got what
you did me dirty.
You got what you
You
wanted.
did me dirty.
Got what you wanted.
Oh, right. No, I didn't. I came to Madison Square Garden to confront Thunderknuckles. There's a lot going on in the world of Chris Page, and there's a lot of accusations that have been made. There are a lot of fingers that have been pointed. There's a lot that's out there that has just come public with Thunderknuckles cracking Robert's skull. I just laid this out there, like everybody assumed that I had joined Bob. I never joined Bob, and I'm pointing it out again. Put on a t-shirt because I was fucking cold. 12-degree weather.
It was
Who
pretty cold out.
I thought was my friends, like people that I hung out with backstage. I at that point in time was playing my game, so I let it be known. I knew Thunder Knuckles cracked Rob's skull. I know that somebody paid him, but in Page's mind, he was getting close to trying to crack that code to see who was really behind this thing, right? There's somebody that's playing vignettes out there that's showing all little pieces of stuff here and pieces of stuff there that's fucking with CCP's head. H thinks that it's Thunder Knuckles because Thunder Knuckles is one who cracked Rob's dome, so he's coming to avenge it, and Thunder Knuckles comes out when from there all bets are fucking off, man. I got goozled, and I'll let TK talk about the beating that was laid out on me because this is something that doesn't happen often. It Page has probably not been left in this shape in about a year and a half on television. So, and it happened in New York City. It's happening at
Madison Square Garden.
At Madison Square Garden.
Tag team move today. The Rainbow Laser Death sequence. It had to happen to somebody. Might as well be the Universal Champion to make it that more important.
Exactly.
DK, I mean, talk about this beating that y'all levied out on me.
I mean, you did take it pretty bad. You did take it pretty bad. Who was the last person who laid you out like that? Was it?
It actually might have been Robert Maine.
Could have been
back in 2019.
So.
2019.
Yeah.
It's been a minute, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. I'm trying to figure out what games are being played, and Paige has always said this is chess. It's not checkers. So maybe I'm playing a game against somebody who's a little bit better than me.
Maybe they're playing Othello.
I will tell you this: that I got hit up on Discord when this show went up by 4 or 5 different people that didn't see this coming, and like we're just kind of like, what the fuck is going on? Which is great because that means I got you right where I want you. So RL, let me kick this over to you. You're an outsider's perspective. Have you been following the storyline and with the developments that have happened over the last week from Thunder Knuckles being, outed as the man who cracked Robert's skull to now, and all points in between. What do you
Tell you
think?
what, this one here definitely left me shitting my britches. I mean, um, it's interesting to say the least. It seems like Bob has definitely starting to consolidate some power. Now they've possibly got the left hand on their side. They're feeling right in what they're doing, and it seems like they've got Chris Page cornered. It's a big turn, and I'm just really interested to see what the repercussions are going to be. What's Page going to do next? Has this shored up anything else to the puzzle? Has he found any additional pieces through this? I'm
What's
definitely looking
what's
forward to seeing what comes next.
what's interesting to point out is something that I just really thought is no one came out to Page's aid. Chris Page is an island amongst
Right,
himself,
right.
and
Has he burned too many bridges?
he is picking a fight with a deep army.
Right.
And
An army
then
that's gotten deeper with Fury's involvement with the left hand.
yeah. So TK, man, like, what's up? Why?
I don't know what I could say. Honestly.
I mean,
Can you say? Tell us. Breadcrumbs.
gotta have something. Gotta have a little nugget of
Uh,
something to give out.
but do I though? Do I? Do I?
Keep the Xbox coming, folks. Keep the
Make it
Xbox
rain.
coming.
Make it rain.
I mean,
Oh, and
when,
that's the best. I want to say too. That's the best tag team move
yeah,
out there right now.
I love that move.
I was super stoked to be able to ride it for Snow Job.
You wrote that
What an
match?
awesome move.
That was a
The
great
TLC match, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great match.
I was honored to write that match. It was a lot of fun.
We've got some things a brewing. We know 8 names that have advanced into the March Madness tournament. We're gonna get the next set here in a couple days on Warfare. Where you guys thinking with the winners that have advanced on? And of these 8, if you had to pick one that would go the distance, who would it be?
The other member of the Sick Cunts. That's not Noah Jackson. That's not Noah Jackson.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Noah Jackson's dad.
Okay. What about you, RL?
Give me Noah Jackson.
I'm going to do a sleeper pick, and I'm actually gonna say Miss Fury. That's where I'm going with it.
I like it.
We've got
mark the hell out.
I mean, there's really and truly, man. This thing could go a lot of different ways. There's some really good advances on this show. We're gonna have to see what happens on this draw Wednesday, and that'll determine kind of how we're looking moving forward. Right now, it's anybody's game. It's anybody's game. And here's something else that we got to think about too. Like, this is all 3,000 words. So some of the heavy hitters, like Noah's father, is limited to a certain amount of verbiage. That may come in to hinder him. And whereas you've got a Solace, Tatum, and a Ned Kane who are constantly building this momentum. This is going to be interesting to see. I'm really curious to see the round 2 draws.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. That's part of the fun of March Madness. It's the treat for everybody.
Oh, and imagine a father-son matchup in the next round. I mean, that could potentially happen.
That could.
It's possible.
Be a hell of a lot of fun too.
That would be a great
I
match.
might grease my fingers up when I do this drawing. Who knows? I'm kidding. I would never do something like that.
He totally would.
Just to see Noah versus Sean. That would
5.
Fucker is rolling into Wednesday Night Warfare. This was a long show. It was the first round of March Madness. We've got some interesting things going on. This show headlined by Mr. Edgar, our guest, defending against Lacana. We have 8 first round matches of the tournament, and we've got a Big D and Thad showdown. I guess we'll just start from the top here, guys, if that works with everybody else.
Sure.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Kicked it off. Warfare, interestingly enough, starts with a match and not a segment. It seems like we don't catch a lot of that anymore. Kicking things off with Thad and Big D. This is, piggybacking off of a few weeks ago, and D losing this contest via count out. We'll come back in and circle back around to the segments here once we kind of roll through the match and discuss the cards. Next match on the card is the first round match of March Madness was Melanie Childs and Sean Wild. I think this was a no-brainer. I don't think Childs showed up. Wild wins. He's going to advance here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the show, and then I'll kick it over to you guys, and we can kind of discuss the fallouts and what have yous and all that good stuff. Match 3, Savannah Knightley, Atara. This was a victory for Miss Atara. She advances. Money Oswald, Terry Borden, but a shocking win for Terry Borden over billionaire Oswald. We'll get into that one here in a little bit. Jenny Mist over Captain Future. Then we had
Excuse me.
we have Salt and Pepper taking the heartbreaking defeat to them No Good Bastards, which was a great little match. Diesel getting the surprise win over Jerry Vaden in the tournament, March Madness tournament. Then we have Betsy Granger over Marf, Calypso over Ruckus, Doc over Demos. And it ended with RL successfully retaining the championship over a very game Lacana. Bobby, let me start with you on Warfare. Where it was a pretty big fucking show here. I think it was like 10 matches all together. 8 of those are first round contests. Where what do you think about this program, and what was your favorite match and your favorite tournament match and or your favorite match on the card?
Well, there's a lot of parts of it that stood out to me. I think that, Duke versus Big D was brief, but it told the story that it kind of had to. It was rife with a lot of character development and story advancement. Let's see. Looking at a lot of the Madness round matches, I think that on the boards, I was most thrilled by, Granger and Marf. And that match, I think, really stood out just because of what I read leading up to it. Demos versus DeVille, another solid choice right there, too. So it's really favorite tournament matches between those two.
Gotcha.
TK, what do you think?
I think my favorite match of the card, the tournaments, that is, the Doc versus Demos was probably the one I was most looking forward to and the one I enjoyed the most. But there was other matches. Calypso, man, I love Calypso, and I'm happy he advances. Atara advancing, was happy to see that. I was shocked to see Diesel and Borden both advance. RL, what do you think?
Oh yeah, it was a great show. Those tournament matches were a lot of fun. I thought it was cool to see a count out win there for Thaddeus Duke, and you can't say enough about the work that he puts in, and of course the Betsy and Marv was fun. I figured that was going to be a pretty tough match. I don't think it was, and then of course DeVille and Demos. I mean, those two delivered, and same thing with DeVille. You can't talk enough about him. He's the GOAT.
This was a, it sets the stage, right? So we have our 8 advancees that move on to Savage. I agree. There's definitely some shocks with Diesel and shocks with Terry Borden, and um, Doc and Demos did a really good job. Um, I don't really have a personal favorite as far as the tournament matches are concerned. I wrote them all, so it's just one of those situations where I hope that everybody kind of enjoyed what they got. It was a challenge to do, but challenge was accepted, and the show was out relatively early, so that we could get our drawings and all that jazz. So it's good that this one's in the books for sure. We do have some interesting spots to talk about. Um, Let me kick it over to you, TK, because I want to get your take on the Thaddeus Duke promos kind of scattered throughout the night. He's all over the show again, and this is all kind of escalating the Paul Heyman storyline that he's got going on. So what are you thinking about Thad's direction with the character, kind of rubbing shoulders and being all over the place?
Well, first we have Duke in the ring with Big D in the first match, right? Big D's fighting spirits going, and Duke's basically saying he'll get his hands on him again one day. And I tend to believe that he will. Later, Big D leaves. Then we have the segment with Lycana hyping the main event. And that's not what I'm looking for. And that's sad. I don't know. You tell me, Paige. You tell me all about it. Tell me. Please tell me.
Bobby Bourbon, step in and save the young soul.
On Duke,
Yep, on his segments for the show.
it's really Duke playing the Duke character, which is the most important person on the show, according to Duke. And I think that it carries forward for his character. I think that's a good thing. And I'm not minding it. It's a lot of Duke, but
I think he just liked to say
he's
the
telling
word
the story he
Duke.
wants to tell. There's the story. Yeah, it's a fun word to say. But,
RL.
Duke's he's all over the place here. Showing he's got a hot eye for Lycana, and looks like a hot eye for the Heart Championship as well. So he's kind of showing that he's not going away, and that he wants Wednesday Warfare to be the Thaddeus Duke show. So all the credit to him.
Well, this is how you go about doing it, and I can appreciate the fact that when you don't get people that submit a lot of segments, and then you get a handful of guys that do, and people always ask, how do I get over? How do I get over? How do I get over? This is how you get over. You come in and you fucking write your ass off segment wise and get your face plastered all over the place. That does an amazing job of that. He's bar none probably when it comes to telling the story through the segments to make it about him, which is for a baby face is egotistical as fuck, and I love it.
yeah, it's great.
I'm curious to see where he goes with Lacana stuff. I'm curious to see where we go with RL. and I'm curious to see how all this plays into Continuum. Uh, it's gonna be interesting to see how this stuff kind of weaves its way in and out. I feel. Am I wrong? Does anybody got anything else to add on Mr. Duke? Uh, occupying warfare.
All I know is he wants none of R.L. Edgar. Thaddeus Duke does not want these problems.
Don't antagonize him, dude. Just just don't. I mean, it'll end well for the readers, but I don't know how it's going to end between either one of you because I dig both of your work. You both are phenomenal in your own rights.
No,
Um,
absolutely. Duke's always been my best friend in the Fed, and he's the main reason I'm back, and I'm glad to be here and working around him and working with him again.
blow his head up. Uh, Moving forward, we get a segment from Sarah Lackland, and this is kind of more of a promotion of Anarchy, and I love this as a strategy from a general manager or a commissioner as she is. I this segment just gets it is what it is, but you don't really get the GMs or the commissioners in her case kind of plug and show her show on other people's shows. I thought that was a cool touch and a very heelish move. Not a whole lot to be said about it. It's basically eyes on Anarchy.
And our eyes are on Anarchy.
Anarchy is a great show. It's definitely putting making some serious moves. We'll get a segment with Lacana. It's kind of piggybacking off of the Thad situation. Probably match of the night would be Salt and Pepper versus them No Good Bastards. I think that they stole the show. So TK and Bobby Bourbon, big tag team victory. What's shaking?
Well, well, all right. Let's. I'm just gonna go ahead and go behind the curtain on this one. I didn't write a single RP because I was busy writing the match. It was we were given jobbers, and you can do that. You can have fun with some jobbers, but mind your p's and q's because the jobbers will beat you if you don't RP. I've seen it happen, but I had fun writing the match, and I hope everybody had a good time reading it. I tried to come up with something that was a little innovative. I tried to think Crash TV stuff. The good half of that, not the weird halves of the Attitude Era, where just two guys decide in the middle of their own match they're going to go attack somebody, and I thought that was just I don't know outsidersy, Edge and Christiany. I thought,
I liked it.
what'd you think?
I think that you had a good tag team partner in this one.
I did
Uh,
the finest in the world.
and yeah, it was a great match. I love the match.
Arlo, what were your thoughts on it from somebody who was outside of the box?
Right.
Somebody who
I think anytime when you start to roll down and then you see
what'd you think?
anytime you're rolling down the screen and you see a rainbow laser death sequence popping up at you, you know you're in for a treat, and it was. I had no idea that you wrote it, but now I should see that. Now it makes sense that you did. It was a lot of fun to read that. That's a good job. I mean, TK and Bobby are just a fun tag team. They're really talented. And, they're putting in a lot of great work. This was fun to read, and I like watching them grow. Good stuff.
Thank you. Well, thanks for contributing to the show and for saying the nice things. I'm glad that you like it, man.
Absolutely.
Well, okay, RL. I mean, how did Bobby Seaman taste?
Delicious as always. It's been delicious for as long as I've known him. I'm just learning what TK's tastes like, so that's really good too. Good stuff, guys.
Thanks,
All
man.
right, pick
I'm
some
shooting for
video.
both.
Did you say Bobby?
I said I'm shooting for Tart.
after, so after the tag match,
That's a double entendre.
you get the fallout from CCP and Thunder Knuckles. Paige is coming for a fight. TK, not so much. Has some interesting words for Paige, and I believe that the takeaway from this piece to this puzzle is that the Stalker Anarchy character is going to meet CCP for the Universal Championship at March Madness. I want to throw this out to you guys. With the story that's been advancing with the Uni title, what are you guys thinking? All right, let me start with you.
I think I've got a good hunch of who this is going to be, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it unfolds, and to see whoever that opponent of Chris Page is going to be at March Madness. Yeah, look, I mean, it's turning at every corner, and you don't know what's coming next. This is great storytelling, it really is.
TK, you're heavily involved in this, and
Well, I ain't
kicked
saying.
the shit out.
No
You
way.
kicked the shit out of me on Savage. So why not confront me and demand? Why take the route of not?
Because it's more fun that way.
I thought the answer I was going to get was because TK wasn't getting paid to fight Chris Page.
Well, I
He
mean,
was
that's
getting paid.
basically what it is, right?
Yeah, no,
if
he
you
was getting
read it.
paid to take out salt and pepper.
Yeah. He wasn't there
Um,
for Chris Page.
that's good, Bobby. What do you think about the involvement of? Hey, I guess with Bob being heavily involved in the story, and TK being the man that cracked Robert's skull. What are your thoughts with the progression and kind of where it's at right now?
I think that there's a lot of winding twists and turns yet to come. I don't think this is just concrete. I think this is just the tip of the ice as far as
Gotcha.
the rabbit hole goes. No way. No discredit to TK. He could have masterminded all of this. But did he? I mean, that's what I'm interested to see. Because I feel TK would have told me.
He's not wrong.
Forgot the memo.
TK knows who's behind it.
I
Obviously, he was
do.
paid. So it's. I like the story. I like where it's going. And I mean, if I took my character out of the mix and inserted someone else's character into the mix, I think I'd like it just as much. The direction that it's going is, full steam ahead. Bobby, I wanna turn the next segment over to you because this is something that has always been very near and dear to your heart, and that's the Heart Championship. So let's start with you, Lakana and RL Edgar. I was super fucking impressed with the pieces of work that were put out for this match between both of these guys. Um, you being a long reigning Heart champion, where does this match fall in the pecking order?
This match, it's setting the new pecking order for 2021. Flat out.
Mhm.
This is the way that the Hard Championship is going to be defended and competed over. Edgar and Lycana brought it. And I think it was a phenomenal matchup between the two of them. I think it was great to read what they were doing. Out of all the matches that were not March Madness, this one stood out to me, definitely.
Okay. Before we
Just
before we
looking at it
slide it.
again.
Oh, no, sorry, Bobby. I didn't mean to cut you off, Bobby. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a straight up, like, it's a very thrilling match to read because it's just a lot of solid back and forth. And by the end, see, well, which bomb's going to finally end it? And then it came down to just Edgar just squeaking out. And I thought it was great.
TK?
This is my favorite match on the card that was not a March Madness match. The back and forth between the two, the role plays going in, it was all good. It was a close match. It was close. So,
I think it's the closest match on the card,
yeah.
personally. And I would not have been disappointed.
Easily.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been disappointed if this one went the other way. I think that there's a lot that's going on with the Wednesday night Heart division and with the Saturday night TV title division. I think we got two really good champions there, and one of those champions is still here with us. And RL, I want to kick it over to you to, your thought process and your perception on the Heart Championship match. You successfully defended, and the fallout that takes place afterwards, because it's all all involves you and your character, and there's some interesting things going on here. So take it away.
Well, it was just it was a lot of fun writing the role plays for this. I was pretty well made up in my mind that Lycana was probably going to get me. I mean, she's really, what can you say? She's new, and she's already making good writers sweat. She's been doing it for a while, and um, you know give me a second here.
Well, I sent her a message earlier this week, and uh, basically was telling her I apologized to her, and she was like, "Well, what?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, why are you apologizing?" I was like, "Oh, I apologize that I cursed you." Seems like you want to talk about on the podcast. There's a curse that floats around out there. I think Lacana is great, and I think that she's just had some really tough draws, but she is hanging the fuck in there with anybody that she's been put up against right now since kind of breaking out at Snow Job. And I don't think that this was any exception. I know that you wanted to take a minute and uh, scroll through some stuff, so I hope I bought you enough time to do that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, and she's going to be a tough out for anybody that faces her. And I've got to do it again now on the following warfare, but this time with Charlie and with Ned against Lycana, Marf, and a mystery opponent. So big shout out to Marf for writing this match. I thought it was written really well, um, and I'm excited to keep rolling on with this story. I can't say it enough. Again, hats off to Lycana. She really pushed me, and I thought she had me, but at the end of the day, I pulled it out, and we'll keep trying to hold on to that Heart Championship as long as we can and tell a good story.
That's the spirit.
Well, and you're well on the way, I believe. And I think you have such an interesting field right now on Wednesday nights that there's several people out there that could get in the mix, and you could get a really solid angle out of, which is kind of unheard of since I've been back in the Fed. You know, before it just seemed like a lot of booking was just thrown together, and or the people that were trying to collab with each other there were disconnects or something. Like
Right.
now it seems like it's way more seamless, and
Right.
the story that you're telling around the Heart title, I really think I think that you've got an end game that's going to develop, and I think that we're all going to be in for a treat once it as it culminates and as it draws out and as it plays out. I think that the sky's the limit for that division right now, which is probably near and dear to Bobby's heart, although he just stepped out. Way to go, Bob.
And think about this. When's the last time that you saw the TV champ and the Heart champ tag up together on a show? I don't know that I ever saw it in all the time that I played this game. And so and so that's just a piece of the pie along the way to what we're working towards, and you got Ned involved. And why is Ned involved? And you know, he was the former Heart champion. What's going on there? It's a lot of
Well,
really cool stuff
Ned,
to keep an eye on.
and see with Ned, and what makes Ned's involvement to me just a little bit more interesting, outside of the fact that yes, he is the former Heart champion, and probably does have a rematch coming at some point. But Ned's on a roll. Ned just knocked off Ruby on Thursday night.
Yes. Yes.
And this is all coming off of
So
ahead.
Right. And here in the end of Warfare, you've got probably I think three of the hottest um, competitors. You know, Ned, Charlie, and Edgar, kind of showing out there at the end of the show. It's really cool. We got to figure out who's attacking Ned and who's attacking Edgar, because it's obviously not the left hand. So I just hope that everybody enjoys it. We're having fun telling the story, and that's what this is all about.
And it should be, like this is really good storytelling. It just makes me want to know more and makes me want to. Well, and I understand that much like everyone else, I just have to wait and see how it plays out with the next episode of Warfare, and or the pay-per-view upcoming, because you'll have another title defense there, and right now there's several people that have claim. So I'm gonna put you on the spot with everybody that is in the mix for the Heart Championship. Who do you want to face at March Madness?
I think if I had a dream opponent to face at March Madness for the Heart Championship, it would be Thaddeus Duke. I think Duke and Edgar would be a lot of fun. But
Stop pumping that fucker's
hey,
head up.
I'm
That's
telling
like
well,
saying Sean Warstein. We don't do that on this show.
Thad's got he's a former Universal Champion, and that's the one title in this company he hasn't won, and he's made his intentions clear. And I think that would be fun. But there's probably going to be someone else who's going to step up along the way. So we'll see. We'll just see how it turns out. I'm down to face anybody.
Really?
Anybody who
What
wants
if
a
it
piece
was
of the Heart Championship, just come talk to me. We'll figure it
what if
out.
it was Sean Warstein?
Absolutely.
Really?
That would be a lot of fun. Yeah.
You'd face Fuzz?
Well, yeah. I figure I might have to at some point anyway. Shit, we're all going to be playing this game.
Yep. What's his name again?
Sean Warstein.
I don't know. You guys keep saying it. I'm done. I'm not going to add to it.
Noah Jackson's father.
Yeah.
What's the one? What was the one
The
that we
one,
said?
one who shall not be named.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've kind of dropped the bomb already. I got some interesting things going on here. All in all, I think it was a really solid edition of Warfare. I think obviously the big news is Edgar still Heart champion after a very game. Lacana stepped up to the plate. You have your 8 advances to Saturday Night Savage, and I think let's shift directions over there real quick and run down the Elite 16 or the Sweet 16. Because we've got some fairly interesting matchups that were drawn, and it's what to make it a step further. Like, you drew the matches, RL, so your lovely wife assisted. So I'm going to kick it over to you as you were drawing out the matches for round 2 of March Madness. What matches were poking out at you, and we'll just kind of circle around and get everybody's take. And I just want to kind of see where everyone's head's at, because this was a really good draw for
Yeah.
round 2.
Absolutely. And that's I don't know if you can see in the video, I was pretty tired, and as she was drawing the names, I'm like, as we got like halfway through, I'm like, this is the most ideal draw, of competitors and matches you'd like to see that just feels right. I mean, the card really feels right. I think that Doc and Jen A is going to be a lot of fun, and Calypso and Betsy is going to be a lot. I mean, all of these, Terry and Atara, Sean Wild, Miss Fury is going to be off the chain. I already know that. Diesel and Osira. This is just a great draw, and I'm I'm proud that Angie drew it.
We've got elsewhere on the show, Bobby and TK. I'll get to you guys in just a second. We've just got a handful. Well, really and truly, there's just 2 matches on the card. That's not a March Madness tournament contest. We got Corey Smith taking on the newcomer Andre Dixon. We've got DDS, Demos, and Jim Jemison against Chris Von Bon and Scarlett Donaldson. I really think that with the other 2 matches on the card, all eyes are on Andre Dixon right now. I think everybody's aware that he used to be Jason Williams, who back in the day, like pre my time in this Fed, my first run here was kind of the bee's knees of the XWF when you were talking about the greatest of all times in that line, in that era, it was Steve Jason, it was the Brand, it was Jason Williams. That was your discussion. So we know that the first pieces of work have been put out, and it's kind of like a joke at this point because it seems like Corey's getting to get his hands on everybody before they can even get in and get a good story. So again, it was like a bad draw for Andre to come in taking on Corey, because we all know Corey's he's the shit, man. Like he's a really fucking good role player. It's just that there's no denying it. It's in his work every week. So RL, what are you thinking with Corey and Andre, and where do you if you could give Andre any advice right now, what would it be?
Oh Lord, I don't know. I mean, I think it's like you said. We all hear about Jason, what he was able to do, and then a lot of us know about what Corey's capable of. So I don't know how you don't look at this as could be the show stealer. As for advice, I don't know. Just write and make fun of the guy, I guess. I don't know. Corey's really good.
I was actually talking to him the other day on the phone, and he went through. He used to role play in my Fed. Bear in mind, this is such how old we are. He pulled a role play from 10 years ago from WGWF, and he was like, "That was my first role play in your Fed, and it was 10 years ago." That's how long we've known each other. And he's a really good guy. If you ever get a chance to talk to him, he's amazing. I'm glad that he's back in the mix. Hate that he drew Corey on this first draw, but if he shows up and shows out and dusts some of the rust off, there's an upside to him. And then on the flip side, we've got DDS taking on the Misfits. I think this screams DDS going over. This involves kind of the tag scene, so why not? What better way to kick it out than to kick it out to them no good bastards first? Bobby, your thoughts on Corey and Andre, and then we got some tag action here.
Well, in terms of Corey and Andre, it looks like Corey's just doing the dirty work now. He is the grindstone of the XWF. If you want to come in here and you want to tout yourself as some kind of talent, management's going to take you and they're going to book you against Corey and see what you got. Corey's nasty. I love playing against Corey. At the same time, I hate playing against Corey. And it's because it's a rigor. You got to go full tilt if you're going up against Corey. You can't just half-ass anything. You got to focus. You got to settle in and go for that ride. I mean, I have one match with Corey when they were the engineer, and we both posted up like 8 role plays each, and that was like a little over a year ago. And then we
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was early 2020, right?
Yeah.
That was January 2020, right?
Yeah, Corey is nothing to sneeze at, and it's a grind when you're going against him, and I love reading the work. But I'd like to see if Andre Dixon can pull it out and squeeze it out. I think that's an indicator of Andre Dixon. I like the work he's putting out too. So we'll see what happens. As for the other match, DDS against the Misfits, I look forward to working with Mastermind and Morbid, and the work. Yeah, that's going to be fun because that match, the Misfits are Mastermind's guys. Did that change? Did that end at some point?
I don't think so.
All
No,
right,
but
well, Misfits, they're Mastermind orchestrated that group. Now, Mastermind hasn't been around for a while. The Misfits have, and they really haven't. They haven't accomplished. They have not accomplished. They've not. I don't want to say they've languished, but they've not accomplished. Like there's been no story coming from their end. So I think that it's going to be kind of a one-sided matchup. You have Charlie. I love Jim, but we'll see how it plays out.
Would you look at the drawings for the second round of March Madness? What's your looking at Savage? Which match are you looking forward to the most here? You've got Noah and Kieran Overton. We've got Diesel and Osira, Hanari and Solace. You got Sean Wild and Miss Fury. You got Borden and Atara, Calypso and Betsy, Ned and Sean, and Jenny and the good doctor.
I think Ned Sean Warstein is going to be, it'll be good to read. Anything with Doc is going to be worth reading as well. Betsy, I like Calypso's work. We all love Calypso. Calypso loves Calypso. Calypso knows what he's doing here. Yeah, I so stacked. I really look forward to seeing what Sean Weil and Miss Fury happens, because then you have the two superheroes. Their characters mesh so well, and just seeing what happens between the two of them is what I look forward to.
Yeah, that's interesting that you point that out, because that was a connection that I didn't make right off the jump. It just slipped me that he's the White Spider going up against the villainous Miss Fury. I think that's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, out of the March Madness round 2s, I really hope that Ned K knocks out Sean Warstein. And I'm most looking forward to Noah Jackson versus Kieran Overton. Jenny Mist versus Dr. DeVille. That's probably my second favorite on the card. On the March Madness matches, rather.
And then RL, we got yours, right? Or did we not get your round 2 matches that you're eyeing up?
Oh yeah, I don't know if I did or not, but yeah, definitely. I don't know how you pick from this card. Definitely looking forward to Doc and Jenny, because that can be low key really good, and then looking forward to Corey and Dixon.
It's gonna be good. We know that the winners of this are gonna automatically move on to the March Madness pay-per-view, and then it's I think we're into the pressure cooker, because you've only got so many role plays to work with to try and win this tournament, and you got to wrestle twice. You got 2 matches for sure. Right? Maybe was it 2 or is it 3? Go from 16 to 8, 8 to 4. Yeah, you got several matches coming up at the pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Your work is still cut out for you.
we've got some names here, though. We've got some names, and I think let's be realistic. I think we're all eyeing 2 names right now, 3 for sure, and that's Doc DeVille, that's Sean Warstein, that's Betsy Granger as tops. Top level right now. If we don't get a draw with one of them squaring off against the other to start knocking them out, there's potential for that to be your semifinal and final.
True.
Am I
We
wrong?
can't. I don't want to write off Noah either. I think
Yeah.
Noah Jackson has legs, and
Well, he's right there too. And then that's 3 members of Legacy.
yeah,
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, oh God, guys, could you imagine that? Warstein would never shut
I
up.
think that's what it's going to be. I think it's going to be Doc, Betsy, Noah, and Warstein.
That's actually my 4 that I'm having advanced as
Yeah.
well.
you know what? I'm gonna go my 4. I'm not even okay. I'm gonna go Noah. I'm gonna go Doc. I'm gonna go Warstein, Ding, and then my 4th, and it's gonna be a sleeper pick. And there's a reason I'm picking this name instead of Betsy Granger, and that's Anari Karnas. I think that's a sleeper pick. I think the handler.
I think so too. That's a good one.
The handler can do it. For one. For two, Betsy's got a full plate. Betsy's not just doing this tournament. I think if anybody can, it can be Betsy, but I think Betsy's got a full plate. If there is a sleeper that comes up, it'll be Hanari, and I think it might edge out Betsy, because Betsy just has a championship to defend and other interests besides this tournament. So I don't know if she'll be in the final 4. It'd be great if it turned out that way, but it's still random draws. So
Well, that one's in the bag, and now we have a message from Vinnie Lane.
And as always, fuck you, Ghost Tank.
Thanks for listening to the Xwf Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Xwf YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at XWF1999. And don't forget to check us out at XWF99.com. Be sure to join us next time where the action never slows down.